Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast Reading the Author, a unique show where we read authors' mind and not their book. Meanwhile, I truly believe and pray that you and your families are completely safe and healthy as well. Guys, today we have Santosh Vishwanath sir with us, and he is the author of altogether three books. The first one comes with Once Upon Time in a Traffic Jam, the second one, What a Plot, and the final and the latest one, An Author's Secret. थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर कमिंग ऑन आवर शो आई एम ट्रूली ग्रेटफुल कि आप हमारे शो पर आए.
That's right. Thanks a lot, Karaji. Thanks for calling me here.
Yes, sir. So, sir, like before we get into the podcast and know much more about your books, about your journey, about your what I can say upcoming journey, basically, I would request you to please introduce yourself ताकि हमारे listeners आपको और अच्छे से जान सकें. And do let us know how you started this writing journey.
It's a long answer for you then and for the audience. So I'll keep switching between Hindi and English. Audience will be fine. मैं पहला बैठा तो बैंगलोर में बचपन से यहाँ रहा. So that way I didn't have to travel a lot for jobs, thankfully, unlike many of my friends who have come from different parts of India to Bangalore for opportunities. I had a normal childhood. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैं सबके दस स्टूडेंट था या I was not in the bottom as well, somewhere the average zone. It was in my college time when I started playing with words in all languages, Hindi, Kannada, and English, and I realized that there's something I can look at creative aspects as well as a way of life. When naturally, however, आपको तो पता है कि जो भी आर्ट आर्टिस्ट होते हैं, till they are established, it is important that they also have to feed themselves and their family.
True.
So I got into a job, and I'm very fortunate. The kind of job I got in was though I didn't have the right education background, I got into an HR job, human resources job in a international, and completed almost 20 years in the firm. Then when I had got into such a job is when my creative aspects started coming back, and there I was lagging behind. Kuch hua nahi. So then I started one fine day. There is an English author, E.G. Wodehouse. जब उन्होंने तो 90-100 लिखे हैं. जब मैं पढ़ रहा था उनका चमका मुझे कि why not writing something like this. I had dabbled with poems, short stories in the past during my college days. I used to take part in competitions on poems during my work life as well. So जब ये idea आया, I started with it. And that's when Once Upon a Traffic Jam happened way back in 2010-2011.
Yep.
And few years later, again, humor में ही as a genre, what I thought like. And then I wanted to diversify as well and look at what all other genres I want to explore. And that's when mystery genre came about as well, An Author's Secret. Sorry for the long answer, but yes, nice question.
Okay. So, sir, now talking from a perspective of a new reader, like after listening to this podcast, many people will just love to explore your book. They will be interested in buying it, reading it. So, talking from a new reader's perspective, what a new reader can expect from a book, An Author's Secret. Can you share some insights?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. See, the good part, if I can think like a reader and tell about my book, is I use mostly simple language. So it's not that Shakespeare inspired words हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं, simple English ये है. So that should resonate with new readers because I was a new reader myself once upon a time. It's for us to get hooked on to reading. it needs to be simple. So that language is there.
Okay.
The other specific aspect of the author's secret is that it's a combination of words. So without getting into details, मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा कि in author's secret में दो stories. It's a mystery within a mystery.
Okay.
So mystery is taking place in the author's life, which she is in India. Bangalore में रहती है, so it will be a very culturally relevant to many of our audience, and it was very relevant to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, then the story within the story takes us to a different country altogether, United States, where the other mystery takes place. So that way, it just should be keeping my readers interested, I hope. And because humor comes very naturally to me. Though it is a murder mystery, there are aspects of humor that I have included as well, which should keep my readers interested. And it's not ऐसा नहीं है कि starting से end तक कोई और mystery नहीं है, and only in the end some mystery is revealed. There are several layers of mystery I have tried to include in the book as well. There are within like 10 pages there is one angle of mystery that is revealed. So that's how I have tried to build the interest of the audience, because I'm a reader myself. So I also, when I'm reading something, I want the author to keep my interest levels high. So इसीलिए ये ऐसा सोच के मैंने लिखा है. Hopefully मेरे पसंद आए.
Definitely. So it's not just a single climax like the classic Bollywood movies. बहुत सारे climax हैं, right?
बहुत सारे क्लाइमैक्स तो है, बॉलीवुड या नहीं वो मैं नहीं बता पाऊँ. मेरे रीडर्स को.
Okay. So as we have talked about from a perspective of a new reader, now let's talk about, like, I have just seen there's a 4.8 rating on Amazon, and that's really amazing for a book, what I personally feel. So now talking from a perspective of you, the person who have already read your books, so what they can expect from you as of now? Like, is there something in the pipeline you want to, experiment a bit on some other genres too, or you want to stick to these only? Is there anything in the pipeline? Please say.
So you are now trying to reveal this author's secret by asking such.
Exactly.
Sir, वो तो है. See, I'll be very candid and direct, right? So it's not that I started writing a few years ago. मैं 15 साल से 15 से ज्यादा हो गया. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि एक लिख लिया और समझ लिया कि सब कुछ I've arrived in life or I've become a success. Unfortunately, it's not been easy for any writer like us. That till you have great count of readers as well, it's a journey that I'm still on. I hope that this book will help me get there. But yeah, so there are many other genres as well that I have already written and waiting for some publisher to pick. Or hopefully a couple of them I'm directly trying to look at as a screenplay for either a movie or an OTT series. So I don't know where that will land, but try to कर रहा हूँ मैं. So apart from what you already heard, the humor genre in my first two books, and the mystery genre in An Author's Secret, there is a horror mystery that I have penned as well. Okay. Trying to see if someone can pick it up. I had taken a bit of a sabbatical in trying to go to the publishers, because in 2017, when my previous book was published, I had got into a shell where I wanted to just keep writing as much as possible, prepare a list of stories, my end, and then push the publishers when I have enough and more in my, the list of stories.
Hmm.
So, or थोड़ा बहुत romance भी है, and the sea where something like I have named the book as the story. Let me not get the name of the book, but it's something about the magical element uh, as well. So I have explored all these, but I have to see which publisher or which production house, hopefully sometime in the future, will pick that up, and my readers and audience will get to see that side, those stories as well.
Okay. We'll talk about this publishing side in our later question, sir. My next question to this podcast is, like, I have been in conversation with more than, I guess, 400 authors as of now, because we have just completed our 8th anniversary of this, organization.
Wow,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you, sir. So what I have personally seen, sir, like what I have personally felt, that most of the authors now, they are trying to build, or they are trying to be known or remembered, I can say, as a certain genre or certain type of author. कि ठीक है, अच्छा ये ऑथर है तो इनकी बुक ऐसी होगी, या फिर इन्होंने ऐसा कुछ लिखा होगा. सो व्हेन इट कम्स टू यू, हैव यू एवर थॉट अबाउट दिस थिंग कि आज से कोई 1-2 साल बाद अगर मेरी कोई नई बुक पढ़े, क्योंकि इट्स अ न्यू बुक बाय संतोष है, देन उसके माइंड में क्या आना चाहिए कि ठीक है, सर की बुक है, मुझे ऐसी मिलेगी या फिर ये पढ़ने को मिलेगा. एवर थॉट अबाउट दिस पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग थिंग?
I had, and that's, you are asking two intelligent questions. I have to be careful in answering. Yes, when I started, as I pointed out, my inspiration was Sir P.G. Wodehouse, who is legend in the humor genre.
Hmm.
So, as a person, with my friends or with my family members, I like conversations to be light and humorous. That's how I am as a person.
Hmm.
So when I started, I thought, okay, I will have to be known as someone who writes good humor. I didn't even thought of other genres at all, which is why my first two books, with a gap of 6-7 years, humor. But that's when even my wife, who's also a writer, she nudged me, saying that why you are actually good in a couple of other genres as well. Why do you want to restrict yourself to humor? Why don't explore? It was not once naturally, so she kept reminding me of her suggestion. And that's when I realized that there is more that I can offer, and hence since then, I realized that I want to be known as a good writer, perhaps an entertainer to my readers in whatever genre. So the only want to leave a legacy of someone, there should be my stamp or my feel that will percolate across different genre, different stories. The readers who read all my books will know that there is a common connection of Santosh Vishwanath across these. That will be my personal touch. Otherwise, I don't want to be known for one particular genre. Something like apne brand word use kiya. So hopefully someday in the future, things will, a lot of books will sell. I'll become a bestseller, and I look back and say to my readers, saying my attempt was to give more versatile work for you all, and I have been successful in that direction. So versatility is what I'm looking for.
Definitely. So as we talked about, like in the last question, we were talking about something related to publishing. So like ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग इस पॉडकास्ट को भी सुनेंगे या फिर सुन रहे भी होंगे, जो बुक पब्लिश करना चाहते हैं, बट they have no idea regarding this publishing industry and the marketing thing. So according to you, what were like a couple of major issues you have faced during this publishing and marketing thing of your book? अगर आप बता सकें.
See, I again, आपने candidly पूछा मैं candidly बताऊंगा, but I don't have a formula to share. So I
Hmm.
will maybe share some of the not so pleasant situations that I had to
Hmm.
go through, so that uh, people who are listening don't have to go through that. They're
Hmm.
especially.
Hmm. Hmm.
When I had started writing, I just realized that somehow, I was wired such it was not very difficult for me to write. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. It was relatively, maybe that was a strength of mine. Like everyone has their own strengths. So as soon as I finished my first book, I was like, wow, this is it. I have finished the book. I just go. I'm the next Chetan Bhagat. Everyone will read my book. Publishers are waiting for me, and as soon as I go, and next pen will come take it.
Hmm.
That was a very rude wake up call for me when
Hmm.
I research and try to understand कैसे approach करते हैं publishers को, कैसे
Hmm.
approach करते हैं agents. It was sad part was I was continuously trying to reach all the email IDs, was trying to understand how to uh, go ahead and submit my synopsis, my stories. No takers, and forget about no takers. There are no responses from most of them, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, nothing much has changed there. So that's one warning I would want to give to the writers who are yet to complete their manuscript. My humble submission is definitely writing is no joke. It takes a lot of effort. Unfortunately, the way the system works is that once you're done with writing as well, there are miles to go. बहुत बड़े बेलने पड़ते हैं. You have to. There will be old emails that you have to send to
Hmm.
the IDs of
To n numbers
publishers
of
or
IDs.
many, many. Someday maybe when I give my TED talk in the future, आपको भी, आपसे second interview भी करवाऊँ. But the number of stories that I have written to, the number of publishers, agents where I have no responses, all responses have not been very positive. I've lost count. That's the kind of uh, less success that I have got there. So there is a lot of time because that is not dependent on you. But my only suggestion, if I may call it, is definitely don't lose hope. You should firstly not just write one. If you have finished something, try having a bit more choice for that you can offer to your publisher, to your literary agents as well. And you also will have that confidence in you when one book someone does not take up. You know that, okay, I have my second story as well that I can pitch. So that gives you a bit of better standing. And one definite example that I have to give on an author's secret itself. Funnily enough, this was a book that I had finished 5-6 years ago. When I had approached the agents and publishers, then I didn't see much of success. And that's when I said, as I said before, I stopped reaching out to publishers and agents. I thought I will build my armory. I will try to write as many stories as possible and then start approaching them. Very strange that last year, which is good 4-5 years after I had written the manuscript and I had floated it in the agent community, the literary agent community. One of those literary agents had, given that story to my current publisher, and my publisher approached me saying, "Hey, we are interested in an author's secret." I was like, "Wow, this was something which I had, the seeds were sown good 5-6 years ago, and it came back." So I think that's one, so never lose hope is the other point I can say. So there is. You definitely have to write and put it out there for people to react, people to accept you. They will take time, but hopefully, I sincerely hope that my story is good. good story definitely will have some takers at the end of the day. That's been my learnings.
Okay, okay, okay. So, sir, like now let's get back to the time when you heard, कि, okay, ठीक है, tomorrow your book will be live. Everybody will be able to buy it, read it, judge you on the basis of what you have written inside the book, because that's the most common thing authors face. लोगों को लगता है जो वो सोचते हैं वैसा ही वो लिखते हैं, as it. So on that particular eve, what was going on your mind? Like, were you relaxed, excited, या फिर आपने कुछ milestones कुछ कर लिए कि ठीक है मुझे इतने लोग जानते हैं, my book has to be sold out these many copies. What was going on your mind on that day, on that eve? Sorry.
Understood. Sir, I think because my first two books had already set the expectations, where
Hmm.
one thing that happens is that when there is a good work of art, there will be many who will praise, but very few may act upon it.
Mhm.
You may have hundreds of people wishing you, saying, "Oh, congratulations," etc. But how many actually buy it is also
Ah,
important. I
true.
learned that lesson in my
That's deep.
first
Yeah.
book, where one of the senior leaders in my company sent a mail to hundreds of people, literally. Was everyone, and he was an ambassador. It was a very proud moment for me, seeing some HR leader, the leader who actually did that for me. He didn't have to do it, so
Definitely.
it was very pleasing. But as soon as I saw so many responses coming my way, I call up my publisher and I say that, hey, be ready, you will get a lot of orders. You may have to
Hmm.
look at more editions, but hardly anything happened.
Hmm.
So yes, we may know hundreds and even thousands of people, and you may imagine that I have spent nearly 20 years in my current company. So naturally, many will know me as well.
So true.
But it is unfair to expect that everyone is waiting to purchase your book. ऐसा नहीं होता. Even friends also, we all have mix of friends, right? Some people don't even know much, are not interested in reading. They are definitely supportive, but they may not be interested in reading. So yes, I was my only hope was that the larger audience who don't know Santosh, the books will reach them through Amazon, and there was a slight delay in it reaching different stores across India. So my hope was that those people who don't know who Santosh is, hopefully they will read it, and there will be positive word of. I have realized that over in my professional job as well as a writer, is that positive word of mouth is what actually helps at the end of the day. So I knew that, so hence I was hopefully less nervous, if I remember, on the eve of my book release, because I knew that ये journey है, ये एक दिन का not a pass or fail kind of a result. I completely respect the intention of your question, and that happened to me in my first book. But by second book and third book, I knew my expectations were set, so I am looking at it from a long journey standpoint. 3-4 months is when I think people will hopefully spread that positive word of mouth and will do well.
So as of now, sir, what's your current writing schedule? Like every day you would devote some particular hours to writing, or it's like random कि कभी कोई thought आया तो phone में डायरी में लिख लिया, बाद में बैठ के elaborate कर रहे हैं? How does it goes with you?
I think all of us, sir, have to have a day job, right? Because we have to maintain our life. So it is not as easy to make time on a daily basis. Whereas work will take precedence, your office job will take precedence. So every day to nahi hota. I try to see if I can get a few weeks leave in a year in one go. तब तक एक जब एक आइडिया आता है आपको, आप समझ सकते हैं ना, जब एक आइडिया आता है, इट इज नॉट दैट इट्स स्टिल इन द बुक फॉर्म ऑलरेडी. You
हाँ.
build on that idea. You let it stay at the back of your mind
Hmm.
for days or months. It's
Plot by
in
plot, page by page.
पेज बाय पेज तो उतना नहीं सोच पाऊंगा, चैप्टर बाय चैप्टर.
Yeah.
So that seed which is sown will become a plant in terms of the thoughts in some months. And then when I get an opportunity of, let's say, a couple of weeks, is when I just shut down from everything. I go into my shell, and then I just write and write when I get a chance. And you brought up the right point, which I'm sure many of my readers do that for their own personal thing, and the writers also do that, as that writing down the thoughts as they come. We all feel that, oh, we have great memory. I will remember
but
this
होता नहीं.
आराम से. कुछ या मैं तो ऐसा हुआ है कई बार कि मैं कोई इम्पोर्टेंट आइडिया आया है और मैंने सोचा था कि इतना इम्पोर्टेंट आइडिया तो मैं कैसे भूल पाऊँ.
Exactly, sir. Same thing happens with me as well. Yep.
It's become a habit now that if I get a thought, no matter what I'm doing, I just write down some keywords फोन में, ताकि बाद में जब देखूं तो मुझे याद आए और मैं वो कनेक्शन करके तब मैं स्टोरी लिखूं.
Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I hope you must have enjoyed this lovely and inspiring conversation with Santosh sir. And if you do, then do follow our podcast, Reading the Author, available on all the leading podcast platforms. Don't forget to buy and read the book. आप जस्ट Amazon पे जाइए, वहाँ पे सर्च करिए संतोष विश्वनाथ सर की बुक्स आ जाएंगी. जरूर खरीदें, पढ़ें और अपने जानने वाले चाहने वाले तो जरूर शेयर करें. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on our show. It was my honor to be able to host you today.
It was the other way. Someone who's interviewing 400 plus authors. It was my privilege to be here. Thanks, listeners. Hope my listeners also become my readers and become my ambassadors to spread the message of my book. Thanks for having me here.
Definitely. Thank you.